Certains disent pour que la révolution soit pure.
Some say, for a revolution to be pure, it must be secular. I don't agree with that definition. We must not replace old prophets with new ones. If I have to choose, and I've always said this, between Muhammad and these new prophets, for me the choice is obvious.
Entre Mohammed et de nouveaux prophètes, moi le choix ne s'impose même pas.
After independence, Algeria faced a fundamental question. What kind of nation would it become? For the ruling elite, the answer was clear. A state rooted in Arabo-Islamic identity. Under the banner of Arabization, the government launched a sweeping campaign to reshape language, culture, and national consciousness. But behind the rhetoric of unity and authenticity, this policy concealed a deeper agenda: the marginalization of Berber identity and the erasure of linguistic diversity. The principle of so-called return to Arabo-Islamic roots, repeatedly stated since independence, has been brought back into vogue by the Boumediene regime. The debates, opinions, and controversies of certain intellectual circles will be completely ignored. Colonel Boumediene, like his predecessor, denied the existence of the Berber language. He also dismissed the debate around Algerian Arabic, a language championed by Kitab Yassin, as irrelevant. From then on, the question of language will play, once again, only between classical Arabic and French, that is to say the so-called national language and the language of the colonizer. This dichotomy obscures the Berber language, and therefore presents the Berbers opposed to their Arabization as Francophiles, therefore anti-national. With the exception of Kitab Yassin, most Arabic-speaking revolutionary intellectuals rejected Berber language and culture. Yassin, however, spoke out. He writes the following: "It would be absurd to shout Arab Algeria, Kabylian Algeria, or French Algeria. We are trilingual, an exceptional situation indeed. We must therefore develop the three cultures in parallel. We must be open to all influences. This will be our strength in the future." Ahmed Talib Ibrahimi, Minister of Education, declares that Arabo-Islamic heritage is part of our lives. A cultural revolution implies a return to the sources, to authenticity, to reconnect with the past. Kitab Yassin denounces this plea. In the name of demagogic Arabization, we continue to impose a classical language on a people who don't speak it. The mission of Arabizing Algeria will be entrusted to those who were its promoters, the ulama. The Ministry of Religious Affairs focused its first efforts particularly on the Berber-speaking regions. The first mosque and the first two Islamic institutes inaugurated after independence, in 1963, were built in Kabyle and Oris. Numerous Islamic institutes and mosques will subsequently be built throughout the national territory. These institutes, along with the country's 4,000 mosques, became breeding grounds for Islamist militants. Under the supervision of the Religious Affairs Ministry, Arabization served not only linguistic goals, but also aimed to Islamize Algerians, especially Kabyles, who had historically been Arabized through religion. At the beginning of 1963, the Arabist offensive to suppress the Kabyle channel of Radio Algiers was particularly aggressive. The Kabyle channel saw its broadcasting hours reduced from 16 to 9.5 hours per day. A special Arabization program was broadcast in Kabyle. On April 26, 1968, President Boumediene promulgated an order making knowledge of the Arabic language mandatory for civil servants from January 1, 1971 onwards. From that point on, Any recruitment of civil servants will depend on their knowledge of Arabic, and civil servants recruited previously must acquire sufficient knowledge of this language. The Minister of Education declares, "He who does not believe in the Arabization policy must abandon his position in favor of those who believe in it." In this context, to affirm or claim the Berber reality is to expose oneself to accusations of being counter-revolutionary, reactionary, nostalgic for colonialism, or even an enemy of national unity. These accusations are often followed by arbitrary arrests and sometimes torture. Having silenced all opposition, the regime attempted to spread the official ideology throughout Algeria by insisting on the superiority of classical Arabic and Arab Muslim culture over Algerian culture, which is essentially conveyed by Algerian Arabic and Berber. Thus, the use of the Berber language was systematically banned in Berber-speaking regions. Furthermore, politically active music, which is mostly Kabyle, is censored. Several singers were banned from returning to Algeria, or from performing on stage or on air. Some were even arrested multiple times, most notably the popular Kabyle singer Farhat Mhennia. Algerian Arabic was denied, Berber was marginalized. Both were replaced by classical Arabic in education and administration, and by French in science and industry. In the media, particularly on radio and television, the two languages share airtime. Unfortunately, the term Arabization eliminates in the eyes of the Arabic-speaking masses the duality between classical Arabic and Algerian Arabic. Because of this deliberate ambiguity, the masses think that the government is protecting their culture against the lingering influence of French colonialism.